Good afternoon, everyone. I've just watched that Godzilla 2014. If you're into dinosaurs, monster, sci-fi film, destruction on a biblical proportion of Goliath, monster eating, feeding, destroying civilization kind of thing, then maybe this is the film for you. Godzilla is absolutely kick-ass. The special effects in this film are really good, and I believe that's what holds this film together. They skimped a bit on the characters, but it's roughly starts off with the Brody family, a family of doctor scientists, and they're like Americans that live in Japan, and they've got a little boy. This mining company unearths the this secret cave that entombs this bat-like creature, which is roughly the same size as Godzilla, and is woken, and it feeds on nuclear energy, and kind of regenerates. There's an implosion, and this creature causes an EMP, and it causes this like big disturbance. So the husband sends the wife to find out what's going on, but when this all happens, she gets trapped and she dies. And the husband's angst-ridden about this, and then it jumps to 15 years later, and he hasn't moved on. His room's full of diagrams of what could have happened, and he's trying to uncover the truth. But the Japanese government are saying, "Oh, it was a nuclear explosion. This area is forbidden zone. It's contaminated." And they all know well it's this creature, which is being constantly monitored by flying helicopters. Anyway, so he lives in. There was a son, and he's grown up, and he's like a bomb expert, and his dad's trying to still find out what's happening to his poor wife, bless him, and he gets arrested. The son, he's on leave, so he sees his wife and that, and you can see he's a family man. He cares about everyone. The wife's normal wifey kind of thing. But then he gets his phone call about his wife being arrested, so he goes over, and then they both get caught, and they get interrogated, and they unveil the truth, and then he's trying to prove that this catastrophe is going to happen again 15 years later, and he's the main, I believe, is like the best actor that we should have followed, because they like to build actors and you thread them through the storyline somehow. But if anyone was to die, I think it should have been the son, not the dad. The dad had really convincing. He was really, when he's dying in the helicopter, it's really convincing, the tears, and you could buy into that. I think once he went, you didn't really care about the characters when this like bat monster is basically awakes and it wants to mate, because it starts off like there's an egg missing, and one they take to America, and the other one because it's discovered in the Philippines, and the other is in Japan still, and it grows and it generates and it breaks out, and then all hell breaks loose. But this summons Godzilla, and it. I'm constantly, when I'm watching it, I want to see more Godzilla. I'm not bothered about the characters. I know I want to see this destruction. I want to see him combat this other bat, and then it turns out there's two. So you're like, right, game on, come on, Godzilla. But there's this constant thing about nature, and how humans can't control nature, and it banged on throughout the film, and you get to know you get that message, and a lot of what gels it together is Godzilla, and I feel he should be more involved. We're not, not in the second hand, because in a lot of the scenes, you're looking at a news report of a screen of Godzilla fighting these monsters. They go to Hawaii. Godzilla goes, and it causes like tsunami, so all the boats just crash into Hawaii. But by that point, I'm not bothered about the characters anymore. I see this dog, and he's running away from these waves that are oncoming, and I'm like, please, I don't give a damn about the human beings. I've got more emotional connection with the dog at this point. And there's a wolf later on in the film, and you're more concerned about him. But obviously, you need the characters as a vehicle to anchor Godzilla. But real good use of like military hardware. If you got a military fetish of like tanks and aircraft, helicopters, then this is for you. The only thing that let it down was some of the soldiers, like the admiral. I mean, they escape. They escape this father and son, because obviously everything cracks off and they end up on this aircraft carrier. But this admiral, he's so clean cut. He looks like a 20-year-old with white hair. You could have done with someone more gritty, like Jack Nicholson. He a bit overweight with a big fat cigar in his mouth, smoking it, chuffing it, getting things done. But you never had that. It was all these soldiers. Look how clean they are. There's not even a bit of dirt on them. And then I thought to myself, do you know what? All this destruction and chaos, and there's not one bit of dirt on all these soldiers. Until the end, it's like, thank you. And obviously, the lieutenant's covered in mud and stuff. But the lot of the cut scenes were too much. What the really interesting things, you wanted to be in the fights and that, but then they'd pull you out, and then you'd watch a little bit of this and a little bit of that when it weren't needed. We're there to see Godzilla. We understand the plot. Godzilla's there to get these other creatures that are trying to breed, and yet in a byproduct way, they're destroying human civilization. But you stop caring, and the music conflicts with what's going on, and you don't know what you're following. You're trying to follow Godzilla, you're trying to enjoy the destruction, but you can't, because they're constantly pulling you out, especially at the climax of the film. And it's fragmented. Yeah, that's the best way to explain it. It's fragmented. Obviously, I'd like to see a lot of blood and gore, but they wouldn't do that because it's aimed at a teenager, younger audience. Obviously, to build up, they'd have to higher the rating, which would kind of prejudice on children's, the new generation of Godzilla fans. But yeah, brilliant explosions, brilliant destruction. Could have done with a couple of less cheesy storylines. We already know that the lieutenant's a family man, he's a decent man. There's a couple of scenes with this kid and on the train, and he gets separated from his kids and stuff. But for me, there was a few scenes like the nuclear bomb on the train and stuff like that. It weren't needed. It would have been more enriching if Godzilla was more present. But I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. One, they killed the main character in my eyes off in the first 10-15 minutes. And then 2, the music, oh god, it was awful. It was just overpowering. And 3, there was no focus. It just kept on cutting this. Yeah, CGI is brilliant. We've got to use it in the right way, guys. But for me, definitely a 6 out of 10. Bye for now, guys.